Good evening all, and welcome to our first class, SAP Plant Maintenance Module Training by Paul Kulu. You are all welcome to this session. So I'll begin by logging into my system, my SAP system. So the SAP system we have on our laptops is installed on a virtual machine because SAP is actually a server-side application. What that means is you install it on a server and other users are able to connect to the server and use it at the same time. So in this case, the virtual machine is serving as the server, while your local system is the user system that will connect to it. So all connections have been made at the background to be able to, all networks have been done in the background to be able to allow your local system connect to the server. So this is the virtual machine logo. So I'll hit on it. Then I will start. So if you are using this VirtualBox Manager, Oracle VM VirtualBox, once you are online, there's this dialog box asking you to upgrade the version. Please don't. This only happens when you are online, when you're connected to the internet. So because if you update it, there are chances that some of the patches may not be compatible with your installation and they can crash the system. So just close this, then hit on the start button. So it's also possible to install ACP directly on your local machine, so you don't have to be connecting to a server. Okay, so here I will just go to input and input this Control-Alt-Delete. Then I will use the user administrator and my password. I'll enter my password. Sorry, I got it wrong. Okay, welcome. Okay. So here we have the SAP Management Console. This is the main instance. This is the database instance that we're going to start right away. So I'll double click on it. So the SAP systems are here. We have the first system, which is the DAA that starts automatically. So it will move from gray to yellow to green. It means it started. So that starts on its own. But the GIG, it depends on your installation anyway. The naming could vary. So, but this GIG, you need to right click on it and start. It depends on how your system is installed. I didn't install yours, so I don't know what names are there, and I don't even know how your installation was done. But however it's done, you need to start the system. So here I'm going to enter my database password. Okay. Sorry, got it wrong. Okay. So you have to start up this server before you can be able to launch your GUI. So GUI is just an interface, graphics user interface that connects to the program, connects to the database, and retrieve all the actions, all the data that you need, and also enable all the actions that you need to see. So it is just an interface that is friendly, user friendly, why this is the program is here, the database is here. So you need to start up this program. Once everything is green, then you can minimize this and you launch your GUI. So the GUI itself is not the SAP because it's just an application that connects to the database. So if you have any other third-party application that is designed to communicate with the database here, you can also create a connection and it will be able to communicate with your SAP. So this is SAP proprietary graphic user interface that is designed by SAP to be able to communicate with the program. So everything is just click of a button and you are good. So here there is a connection using the server address of the server. So if you let me maximize this, there's a server address here that is linked. Okay, if you want to modify it, there's a pen here. If you click on it, you will see where the configuration was done. Okay, the name, you can name it anything. The server has to be the server of the machine, the server machine, the instance number, and the system ID, which is GIG. So if you lose this connection, you can create a new one using this create button here. You can also delete your connection, but just try to know your server address. So once this is set up properly, if you double click on this, then it will open the page for username and password. So this is just the username to access the GUI. My password, and I'm right inside the GUI. So once the home page, you will see in the home page, you will see SAP Easy Access, and you see a couple of other stuff here. So this is how to launch the application, and then you start doing your business. So let's go back to our manual and follow it. So David, your hand is up. Already, your hand is up. Is it the old hand or a new hand? Joshua, your hand is also up. So if it's the old hand, you can take it down so that we'll know when we need to answer someone. Okay. So introduction. Who can learn SAP? Anybody can learn SAP. If you're an accountant, you can learn SAP. If you are an engineer, you can learn SAP. If you are an art student, business management, if you're a management student, anybody can learn SAP. Even if you are not educated, you can learn SAP because SAP is very simple. So purchasing/inventory knowledge is preferred to learn SAP MM, while maintenance knowledge is preferred to learn SAP PM, plant maintenance. So this will just give you an added advantage because if you understand the maintenance philosophy, you are able to understand SAP plant maintenance easily. So I'll be focusing more on SAP plant maintenance because that's the model we are learning. So if you have been in a maintenance team before, or you understand a little about maintenance, then this model will be very easy for you. But if you have inventory or procurement contracting background, SAP MM, you will relate with SAP MM easily. So understand SAP from business point of view, not only configuration. So there are two things. You can learn how to configure SAP. So a brand new SAP installation, you need to force it to work in a particular organization. to work in line with the business processes of that organization. So you can configure SAP to work in an organization. You also need to learn and understand SAP from the business point of view. It means that you need to understand the business itself. So if the business is oil and gas, you need to understand that in the oil and gas, we have equipment, uh, oil and gas equipment installed somewhere in the field. And from time to time, this equipment fail, and somebody has to report that an equipment has failed. And then there will be a document, um, an approved document to go and carry out maintenance on that equipment that has failed. And once that is done, the document will be closed and costs will be settled and all of that. So this process, starting from even from the time you acquire your assets, you buy your assets or you buy your equipment, you install them, you maintain them, you refurbish them, you dispose them when they are no longer needed. So all this has to do with the business side of the thing. You need to understand what the business is all about. There are some companies that are into manufacturing. You need to understand how the whole manufacturing process happen. So it for you to be able to even configure SAP to suit that organization, you need to understand their business. So when an organization buys SAP license, they simply get a SAP consultant to come and understudy their business and then configure SAP to work or to work for that business. So in this training, you will be learning everything from scratch. So the only expectation we need from you is just your desire to learn. Why ERP? First of all, what is ERP? ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP is the family name of softwares like SAP. So we have other softwares that behave like SAP. And all these softwares in this category are called, they fall under the ERP category, Enterprise Resource Planning Softwares. So we have a lot of ERPs in the market today, but SAP happens to be the biggest. It is more robust. It is more, it easily suits any kind of business. So why do we even want to use SAP in an organization or any of the ERPs at all? The reason is to integration of business processes. So this means before ERPs came on board, in an organization, you agree with me that in an organization we have different departments. We have the finance department, maintenance department, procurement, HR, and so on. So these departments will simply maintain their separate databases, maybe in Excel or Access or even in Microsoft Word. All the departments, they will simply keep the names of the, the employees in their department, the details about the employees and all of that. So if you need any information from any department, for example, you are in maintenance department and you simply want to know the salary of one of your the employees in maintenance department, you need to pick up your phone, call HR and ask for this guy, what is his salary? What is his how much do you pay this guy? So HR will now check their database and give you that information. But ERP comes and integrates all the business processes. It means that you no longer need to do that. Everything is in one database. So the only restriction you have is authorization access. So if you are in a position where you have authorization to even check people's salaries in HR, you are able to just go to the system, launch the required transaction code, and you are able to check the salaries of your people. If you're a maintenance department and you need a particular material, and of course, materials are managed by the inventory or purchasing or material management or warehouse team far away. So if you need to know that this particular material, how many quantity do we have in stock? You, before ERP, you need to call the warehouse and ask them, this valve, how many do we have in stock? They will check their record and they will get back to you. But as soon as ERP came on board, this stopped because you can simply go into the system, query a particular material, and you'll see the quantities available real time. If by tomorrow a quantity out of that is used, it will it will deplete by that number. So you are seeing everything real time. So integration of business processes, standardization of systems across location for overall control of organization. So there's a proper control of the entire organization. The management can have more visibility in the activities of the company because they have everything at their fingertips. They just go into the system and check, query anything they want to query, and they see the result because everything is in one database. Better controlling of different business processes, better reporting. So you can run a report. For example, if I have 50 materials and I want to know their stock quantities, I just run one report and I see all of them, their stock quantities displayed in one report. If you want to see how much you have spent for a particular month, a particular year, you can just run this report and system will give you. You can even combine reports from different departments. So you pick one information from HR, pick another information from maintenance, another information from finance, another information from material to produce one single report with different information coming from different departments. SAP has the capability to do this, and this makes decision making very easy for management. So if the management staff has the requisite knowledge to do this, he just go into the system and he spool this report very easily in few seconds. Okay, rather than you having to call this department one by one, they will send you the information. You now start combining these pieces of information to generate one report. Best utilization of resources. So if you know what you have, you can plan properly. You know that, okay, I have 10 maintenance personnel on site, two are already being used for a particular job, so I have 8 remaining. So if I have another job, I can use the 8, and then if I use maybe 2 out of the 8, I have a balance of so remaining. So that information is readily available just by running a simple report. Okay, and that helps you to utilize your resources properly. This can happen also to materials and machines. You know, at every point in time, your bulldozers, where they are, which of them is engaged, which of them is not engaged. If you want to pick anyone, you can pick. So that is and the use of ERP. So it might not necessarily be SAP. Some smaller companies that don't have the capacity to deploy SAP use other ERPs. So as we move on, I'll mention some of these ERP. There are a lot of them, millions of ERPs out there. Some of them are very, very small. They are not that robust, but some companies are using them. Some of them are designed for just a single purpose. For example, one particular ERP designed just for maintenance management, another one designed just for material management, another one just for finance. You hear about softwares like Sage, Microsoft Dynamics, all these are ERPs. Okay, they are designed for a particular purpose. They are also ERPs. However, SAP combines the a lot of functionalities. Okay, not just for a particular purpose. It is very robust. Okay, so here we have some ERPs in the market. So you can see that SAP more than 60% market share. SAP is taking about more than 60%. Then the remaining 40% is shared amongst the remaining ERP. We have Oracle ERP, we have BAN, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Marshall, we have Microsoft Dynamics, I mentioned earlier, we have Sage, you have a lot of them, Odoo, you have Demoment, there are a lot of them. You can just check online, Google, you'll see a lot of ERPs. Okay, so but SAP is number one ERP in the market today. Okay, what is SAP? Remember we talked about ERP and we see that SAP is one of the ERPs. And ERP is the family name for this kind of softwares that integrate the business processes. So now we're coming back home to SAP specifically because we are learning SAP ERP. So what does SAP mean? What does the acronym SAP stands for? So SAP means systems, applications, and products in data processing. Systems, applications, and product in data processing. So currently we have about 10 million users of SAP, 30,000 installations globally, about 1,000 partners. We have about 21 industry solutions in SAP, customer worldwide, mostly Fortune 500 companies. For overall control of organizations, SAP is the fourth largest software company in the world. So these are softwares, So even in the category of softwares generally, SAP is the fourth largest. Okay, we have Microsoft, we have other softwares. SAP is number four. But when you come to ERP, SAP is number one. So SAP R3 system is a business software package designed to integrate all areas of the business. I'll be explaining what is this R3 much later. But again, let me just highlight that R3 here means real-time three-tier architecture. So SAP run on a real-time three-tier architecture. I will explain that. And this three-tier architecture comprises of the database, the program, and the graphic user interface. You will see when I was starting the system, first I started the database. I started the SAP, what was the name? SAP Management Console, which comprised of the program and the database. So that was started. Then I now started the GUI, graphic user interface. So all these three separate systems put together make up the SAP R3. So it's a real-time three-tier architecture. And the three-tier architecture is the GUI, the database, because there's a database at the back end where all your data is stored, and then the program itself, that's the codes that were written to make SAP behave the way it's behaving. So these three put together make the SAP R3. However, let's go down. So this is SAP R3 applications. So you can see different applications here, what we also call modules. So the different modules in SAP are the different applications available. So this is where we are. This is the module we are learning. So if you continue to build yourself in SAP, you can also learn quality management, production planning. There's a module called production planning, materials management, sales and distribution, finance and control, financial accounting and controlling, then asset accounting, project systems, workflow, is industry solution. So these are the modules that SAP comes with. So, but today we are going to be focusing more on the plant maintenance model. Even if you don't have a knowledge of other models, it's not a problem. You can still learn plant maintenance. And in the course of learning plant maintenance, you will definitely learn a few things about these other models. Looks like someone is joining again. HFO. Okay, welcome back. So these are the models available. So even in an organization, not every organization implements all the models. So every organization will select the models that are that they wish to implement and implement. So and a company can decide to say, okay, we want SAP to handle our material management processes. We want SAP to handle our maintenance processes, and we want SAP to handle our quality, that is inspection of items and ensuring quality standards are met. We want SAP to handle that process. If it's a production company, we want SAP to handle the production process. If it's a company that is into distribution or sales, we want SAP to handle the sales and distribution. So depending on what activities you have in your company, you implement the SAP models that are available. So during implementation, the finance and control model comes first. So because the every organization is built around finance, then every other model comes and attaches itself around the finance model. So if you want to implement material management, you must implement the finance and control model. If you want to implement plant maintenance, you must implement finance and control management model first, because you can't carry out maintenance without spending money. You cannot maintain a warehouse without spending money. You can't even do your distribution without talking about money, because the revenue that is coming from your sales will definitely be accounted for in the finance and control. So before you do any model, the finance model is always implemented first. So the finance consultant, the FICO consultant, FICO, will come on board and do their implementation, their configuration. Then other models will just come and attach to the already existing structure built by the finance and control. Okay. So SAP functional models. So even for the SAP models, they are divided into functional models and technical models. So now we are looking at the functional models. All those models I mentioned here, these are all functional models. So what are functional models? And again, what does it mean to be a functional consultant? So if you are a certified plant maintenance consultant, you are a functional consultant. So functional model focus on the function which that model addresses. So if you're an FI consultant, all the financial functions or activities in the company, and also functional models takes care of the day-to-day processes that are happening in the organization, the activities, the changes, the payments, the movement of cash flow, all that is managed by the finance functional model, and then controlling. Then all the business processes that has to do with human resources management, the day-to-day, salary payments, benefits, recruitment, all those activities are handled by the HR functional model. So these are functional, even the sales and distribution, material management, even plant maintenance, all these are functional models. So if you end up becoming a certified plant maintenance consultant, then you are a functional consultant. So what you'll be doing for companies is you simply help the company configure the system, implement plant maintenance model for the company. So if the FI model is implemented, you can come and attach your plant maintenance model to the finance model or the structure that is already existing. Then once you do that, you can also the company can also retain you to sit and manage the software. So if users are having challenges, you will be in the best position to explain to them the issues they are facing. If there are errors that are coming up in the system, you will be the best person to interpret these errors and correct them. You are responsible for training users in-house. You are responsible for ensuring that the process doesn't stop. So you raise a notification, the notification should be converted to a work order, the work order should be executed, material should be withdrawn. So nothing should stop this process along the way. So if anything stops the process, then you are responsible to, you know, address the issue. Look into the issue, read the error message. From your experience, you will definitely know where the error is coming from and you can advise users. So it is very difficult for a company to implement SAP and allow it to run on autopilot. There must be some SAP guys in the system that must be contacted at different times when users encounter issues. So this is the job of a functional consultant who is responsible for a functional model like plant maintenance. So technical models. Now, the technical models or the technical consultants, just as the name implies, technical, they are the technical guys that relate directly with the code or the program that is driving the SAP system. So some of the technical models are NetWeaver basis. So this model is the model that helps in SAP installation. So the guy that installed SAP for you must have had some basis knowledge, some SAP basis knowledge. So they are the guys that are able to ascertain the specification of a system that can work with SAP. So if a basis guy tells you your system is not suitable for SAP installation, is because he has been trained. He's a guy that can install SAP solution. So I've been in the SAP industry for a very long time, but it is just recently that I dived into SAP installation. Throughout my years, I never even bothered myself to do any installation for anybody. But as time went on and I gathered more experience and I related to more consultants, I began to develop interest in doing other things. So this is what will happen to some of you as well. You can come out as a plant maintenance consultant, but again, when you now come into the world properly, you meet people and you just want to learn some more things. That is not to say it is your responsibility. So even if you're a SAP plant maintenance consultant and you're not able to install SAP, it is very fine because we have a specific model. People who does that are trained to do that. Okay, except if you have just passion for learning new things, you can also dive into any of the models that is not plant maintenance. So these guys are also responsible for security, SAP security, or the security of the installation. They are responsible for user authorizations, user management, and authorization. Okay, so they are the ones that decide which user is created in the system and what level of accesses these users should have. So that's what the basis guys do. So you can be employed as a basis guy, and your job will just be okay. It's company employ a new user. You just create the user, you grant him the roles, the requisite roles he needs to work based on the proper SOD, what's called segregation of duty. Okay, so once you do that, if there is a problem with the installation, you will troubleshoot and fix the problem. If there is security issues, you will deploy the relevant security application or softwares that can be compatible with SAP and will handle the problem. So that's what the basis guys do, and they are technical guys because they don't interfere, they don't really relate with users. They don't have any business with you. They're just sitting somewhere relating with the system. Okay, they don't have any business with any user. So users don't necessarily call them on a day-to-day intervention. So that's why they are technical guys. Then the ABAP. ABAP is SAP programming language. Okay. ABAP is SAP programming language. So this is the language that was used to write the SAP program. And ABAP is an acronym. It stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. This is the language that was used to write SAP. So SAP was not written, the SAP program was not written with C++ or C Sharp or Java or any of those programming languages. So SAP designed their own programming language, and they used the programming language to write the code for SAP. So there are guys that are trained as ABAP consultants. And these ABAP consultants are also technical consultants. So they can even alter the code. So if SAP problems, certain issues in the system, sorry, in a particular company, then the ABAP guys can come and alter the code to force SAP to provide a solution for a very unusual process that is not a standard process in the industry, because the SAP software was designed based on best practice, based on the standard business process. So if you have a company or a business that has some processes that are not standard processes, they are in-house processes, that then you need an ABAP guy to alter the code to accommodate that process. So ABAP guys too don't necessarily relate with users on a day-to-day. They simply relate with the system. They can create new power buttons, new buttons to click on, new solutions within the SAP, new applications, and all of that. Then BIBW. BIBW2 is a technical model, is simply business intelligence, business warehouse. So these guys are the analytical guys, right? They are not also having any direct relationship with users in an organization. They simply develop business reports, they customize business reports and push them to the front end for user consumption. So they the management may just need certain reports from the business on a monthly or weekly basis. So the stress of going to maybe write a query or um, do some filters here and there to be able to, get certain data or certain information so you can take business decision, maybe too much for certain users, especially management, big bosses. So BI guys will just, design this report, and they will make it very simple. It could even be up to the point of just a click of a button and your report is displayed on your screen. Or it could also be like in form of a dashboard. So once you open that application, you see a dashboard. It is showing you how many maintenance notifications generated from a particular site. If you have 3 sites, you simply see that site A has 50 notifications, site B has 60, and this is updating real time. So dashboards could be created by this BW consultants for user consumption. So users will simply just click, they will see the values on the dashboard, and they are okay. They don't need to bother how that was done. But this is the job of the BW guys. SAP Enterprise Portal, they are also consultants that are responsible for, creating a portal that could be simplified for users to just click and get their jobs done. Then HANA, we have HANA Consultant. HANA simply stands for SAP Database. HANA is a SAP database. So those who are responsible for managing SAP database are called HANA consultants. So they are also technical guys. So none of these models concerns us because we are not technical consultants. We are functional consultants. So plant maintenance is functional consultant. Material management is also functional model, and so on. And HANA stands for high performance analytical analytic appliance. High performance analytic appliance. That's the meaning of HANA, and it is the SAP database. Okay. Any question? Any hands up? No hands up. Okay, so let's move on. SAP classical implementation landscape. So because we are training you to become SAP plant maintenance consultant, we want you to know how implementation is done. So normally in a normal SAP environment, you see you usually have uh, three systems. Usually have three systems. You have the development system. Just give me 1 second. Let me just use the convenience. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So SAP classical implementation landscape. So I was explaining that in every system or company that uses SAP, there's always or even before the company starts using SAP, that is when you are preparing to go live on SAP. The basis guys will define three systems for the organization. One of the system will be the development system where all your configurations will happen. Okay, then there will be a second system called the QAS, which is the testing system. So once you develop your configuration, you transport it to the quality. So these systems are linked together. Okay, then in the quality is where you do the user acceptance test. So the organization will now test all your configurations. If they are in line with the blueprint, then that data is now moved to production, the live system. So the essence of this is so that even if the system is running and you want to make new developments, you shouldn't be doing them directly on the production system. So you are doing it on the development system, then you move it to test it even on the QAS system before you pump it to the production. So all the systems are linked together. Okay. So that's the SAP classical implementation. So by the time you're working on a project, SAP implementation project, you would be doing all your customization or configuration in the development system. It's like a server, a separate server. Okay, three servers that are linked together. Okay, one server has the development system, the other server has the quality, the testing system, and all these systems are sub systems, but they are linked together. There's a flow of data from one system to the other. There's a standard process to transport configuration data from one server to the other. So that is mainly the job of a basis consultant to set up this link between these servers. But you as a plant maintenance consultant, you simply use the development system to do your configuration. Then once you do your configuration, it is also the duty of the basis guy to transport the data from development to quality. Then once it's transported here, he would notify you that, okay, your configuration is moved to quality. Then you now call the stakeholders to come to test what you have done. So once they are satisfied, they sign the user acceptance test documents that they are okay with the configuration. Then you call the basis guy to come transport it to the live system. So once in the live system, they can now start using that solution. So that's the flow. So again, just to add, there's something called SAP Activate methodology phases. So that means if you are when you want to go into SAP implementation for a particular company, there are stages or there are phases that you follow. So these phases, I didn't capture it here, but I will just mention them because this could be a good question in maybe interview or something like that. Maybe when I update this my file, I will add it. So we have the discover phase. Okay, so the discover phase is a phase where you, the implementation agent, you try to interpret the solution that you're about to provide to the client. So you are more like you are coaching, you are training, or you are enlightening the client about to discover the benefits of SAP. So you are giving the client how SAP will provide solution to their problems in the company. So you engage the stakeholders in that business and they get to understand and appreciate SAP. So the next phase is the prepare. The prepare phase. So here we define project governance. You also start the project. You define or you identify the resources needed for the project. You also define the roles and responsibility for the project team. So the project team can be the project team on the implementation side where you will fall, because if you're working for an implementation partner, then that team becomes the implementation team. You guys, so you are not going to do it alone. Maybe you will have the material manager, the finance, and the plant maintenance consultant. All the consultants that are working for the implementation partner will be on one side. Then on the client side, client will also provide the project team on their own side. So you will now sit together and share responsibility. Say, okay, on the client side, this guy and this guy is responsible for, giving us the required data we need, the required information we need, or if we want to do testing, we need this guy and this guy to come into the testing hall to carry out the testing. So both on the client side and the implementation partner side, you have a project team, and this project team, their roles and responsibility are shared um, during this phase called prepare phase. Okay, then the third phase is explore phase. So here in the explore phase, you simply do some analysis. Okay, you run the fit to standard analysis on the working system with the best practices. Okay, so the objective of the explore phase is to identify, the fit of the best practices based solution, the best practice based solution. So you are studying the system, the existing system, and you are, that's why it's called explore. You are exploring the current solution you have on, or maybe there's a legacy system that is already existing in the organization. So you are studying it and you are seeing how you can bridge the gaps of that legacy system. Okay, that's why we say fit of the best practices based solution. So in the explore phase is basically the exploration. You are trying to explore the company, the solution they have on ground, and see how you can close the gaps using the SAP system. And all this information flow from the implementation partner where you belong as a consultant to the client. So in this phase too, the client sees how the current system they have is not performing optimally, how SAP is best for uh yeah, is best for their job, for the job they are doing. So the fourth stage is the realize phase. Okay, so in the realize phase, you prioritize. Okay, so you prioritize um the actions that you want to take in the course of the project. So you simply, start from the key points and you go down to the less key points in the real. So you define that, you identify that, and you find a way to, to follow like that, so that you can address the, the more important stuff first. Then the fifth is the deploy phase. Okay, so the objective of the deploy phase is to launch the production environment and confirm readiness to switch into business operation with a new solution. So you simply deploy the production um, environment. So this is your production environment. You deploy, you make it available for users. Then the sixth phase is the run phase. Okay, so run phase is where you go live and the system starts running and everything starts moving smoothly. So these are uh the various phases that you go through when you are using the methodology called SAP Activate methodology in carrying out your implementation. So discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. Okay. Now, SAP PM support consultant. So we are training you to become a SAP PM consultant. So you could be a SAP PM support consultant if an organization employs you to sit in that organization and support the user. So some of your responsibilities are you attend to issues with SAP PM end users. So if end users are having challenges, you are responsible to address their challenges, gathering requirements from the users, So if users have certain requirements that they want you to, to meet, you gather all the requirements and you address them. Mapping requirements into SAP. So when you gather requirements, you now map them in SAP, meaning you implement them in SAP. Okay. And changing SAP configuration if required. So maybe let's assume your work order is approved by the maintenance manager, and then the maintenance manager suddenly is on leave, and you need to do he did a delegation of authority to another, maybe a coordinator. You need to go and reassign that DOA to the next person. So certain setups could happen in the system from time to time, and the business can also require you to make some configuration modifications and all of that from time to time. So that's also your job, coordinating with the developer for enhancement. So when I was mentioning the technical consultant, I mentioned the ABAP guys, ABAPers. So ABAPers are the developers, but before the ABAP guys can come and make their changes, alter the codes, they need to work with you, because they don't understand how PM works. They don't understand the business processes in PM. You will be the one to interpret to them that, okay, we're having this issue. We want to solve this issue this way. Maybe because you have a work order that has a particular status, and this status you want, when you apply this status, you want several other activities to take place in the system at the same time. So you will be the best person to explain this requirement to the developer as far as plant maintenance is concerned. Why other consultants for other modules will also explain their requirements to the developer. Helping end users with user acceptance test, delivering SAP training to end users, creating training documents. So this is what you can do as a SAP PM support consultant. Junior consultant, it's just somebody who is just starting. Okay, so you organize workshop, gathering of customer requirements, scoping, gap analysis, preparing blueprint, customizing and delivering the solution, coordinating with technical team for enhancement, testing the changes. So as a SAP junior consultant, you can assume this responsibility. Okay, so now we are going to look at a little bit about SAP navigation, how to log in. We did that before. To log into SAP, your user must have been created, and then your username will be provided and the password. However, if single sign-on solution is used, these details are not needed. What is single sign-on? It is an application that you know is tied to your Windows account, such that once you are able to log into your Windows account, you automatically have access to SAP. So once you double click on the the server link, system will just log you in without asking you for username and password. That solution is called a single sign-on solution, SSO solution. So during login, you must specify the client you want to log into, e.g. client 300, the language. So let's go back to this and try to log in, and I'll explain what this is all about. So I'll double click on this. Now you can see the client here. Here the client is 800. Now let's go back to where I was explaining these different these different systems. So each of these systems is represented by a client code. So if for example the development system is client 800, the quality assurance system QAS may be client 700. Then the SAP production system may be client 400. So you have to specify the client before you can log into that particular system. So if you want to log into production, you have to specify client 400. Okay, like that. So this code also represents the database identity. It represents the database ID, because if you log into this database, 800, the information in database 800 will not be similar with the information in database 400 because they are different systems. So you can also call this client key as a database identity. Then you provide your username, your password, and maybe the language, the logon language. Okay. Screen layout. We're going to explain all the screen layouts on SAP Easy Access Screen. So let me log in first. SAP Easy Access Screen is the home page. When you log in, look at it, SAP Easy Access. So this environment is the initial environment or the home page for SAP system or the GUI system. So we're going to be talking about some of the features on this SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, so the SAP Easy Access screen is a standard initial screen in the SAP system. So the command field, what is the command field? So this is the command field, this small space here. Maybe you may be wondering, what is this used for? It is simply used to type. You can launch your transaction codes here. So SAP, all the activities in SAP are tied to different transactions. Okay, if you want to create a notification, you must launch the create notification transaction. In this case, I launched IW24, which is create PM notification. So that's when you will see that the environment to create notification will be displayed before you. So you are able to launch any transaction from this command field. Then we have the menu bar. So this is the menu bar where you have, these are menus. This whole bar here is what is called the menu bar. So you can see some functionalities in all these menus. So as this training goes on, as time goes on, we'll be utilizing all these things and you'll be used to them. Then we'll have the standard toolbar. So this is standard toolbar. All the icons here are on the standard toolbar. So if you toggle your mouse on any of this icon, you will see the meaning and what it is for. This is enter, equivalent of hitting the enter button on your keyboard. Okay, this is close command field, meaning if you click on this, the command field will close. This is your save button. You will notice that some of the icons are grayed out. They are not active because they are not needed in this environment that we are. Then this is what? This is log off. If you click log off, this is the whole of this environment will be logged out. You'll be logged out of this environment if you confirm yes. This is close or cancel. This is print. This is find. So you have any keyword you can find. For example, if I want to find create, let me anything that starts with create, I'll just type it here and I will say find. So system will search everywhere here to find create. You can also do find next. Let's still use a create and find next. So find next, system will continue to search down every next you click. Every time you click next, system will continue to search until it gets that keyword if it is found anywhere around here. Then we have the first page. In case you are reading from page by page document, you can go to the first page. When you click this button, this is the previous page. This is next. For example, let me display a purchase order. I don't know if I have anyone readily available here. Okay, great. Let's see if we can print preview. Oh, okay. Just 1 second. Let me search if I have any purchase orders in the system. Um, any question? 1 second. Let me just. I'm trying to narrow down the report so that it will not be too much, so I can give us a result easily. Okay, so these are some purchase orders. So I'll just double click on one to open it. And then let's see if we can print preview. So this is your purchase order. And I was trying to demonstrate the use of this navigation buttons. So next, it will go to the next page if this purchase order is more than one page. But this one, the way I see, is just one page, so it will not go next. So these 4 buttons here are just to move around pages of a document. Okay, so that is on the side. It's not really what we're trying to do, just to demonstrate how to use it. So this button here that has this yellow star on it is called create new session. So basically, this is one session of SAP that is displayed before us. And in SAP session, you can launch different transactions. So SAP is designed to help you multitask. So I can run another transaction on this current session, then I'll open a new session, just like opening another page, and I'll run another transaction on this one. Then I'll open another session again, and maybe I'll run ME12. So I simply have about 3 sessions displayed. One is to show the PO, the other one create PM notification, the other one purchasing document by vendor. So you can continue to launch up to 6 sessions. So after the 6th one, the 7th one, system will say you have exceeded maximum number of sessions reached. So you can only launch 6 sessions at a time. You can see these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions. So in these 6 sessions, you can be doing different things. You can be multitasking. So that is the essence of that button, just to create a new session and multitask. Because sometimes you may be working on a particular transaction, and then you suddenly need to check something on another transaction, then you need to add a new session. This is to generate shortcuts. If, for example, you are in a transaction like IW24 and you want to create a shortcut on this transaction, then you click create shortcut. Give the shortcut title. The type of shortcut is transaction, and the transaction is IW24. System is the current IDES system. The person creating the shortcut, and where do you want the shortcut to stay? I will choose desktop. Then if you say next and finish, then your shortcut will be created on the desktop. So let's see if that happened. So these are shortcuts right here. So you create shortcut if you are so lazy to the point you don't want to log in normally to the system before you launch a transaction. You can launch certain transactions. You have created shortcut right from the desktop or from wherever you want. So if I double click on this, normally this should take me all the way to that transaction. You can see all the way to where I was from my desktop. So I don't need to go log in, enter username, do all those things. From my desktop, before I can come and launch the transaction in the command field. So I've already like created a shortcut and saved on the desktop so that when I click on that shortcut, it takes me all the way to that particular transaction. Here you can read some documentations, it's help. You see some write-ups, some commands, shortcuts, and you can read them. Then here is customizing layouts, just to customize the way this environment looks like. If you are not satisfied with the color, you see you can change the color of your system, the font. You can just change a couple of things on this, the design, the keyboard. So there are a lot of settings that you can do here. I will advise you to just play around with it. It's quite easy. You can even tick or uncheck a particular um, setting, and then it will apply on your current session. So accessibility scripting, okay, you see different kinds of commands are here and so on. So just play around with it when you have time. It's not a big deal. Okay, then we have uh, title bar. This is the title bar here. So any transaction code you launch, the title of that transaction is displayed here. If I launch create notification IW24, you will see on the title bar is telling me that it's a create PM notification malfunction report. So that you can see whatever transaction you've launched, the title of that transaction on the title bar. Then you have the application toolbar. So this is where you have application toolbar. So this toolbar only applies to the transaction you have launched at a particular time. So depending on the transaction you launch, these icons will change. If I launch IW28, you see the icons will change to just 3 icons on the application toolbars. So these are the only icons that are applicable to this change notification selection of notifications. So the icons will continue to change depending on the transaction you have launched. So they simply bring transaction relevant icons. For example, here there is up and down navigation. So if I want this SAP default workbook to go down, I just hit that down and it moves, or I hit up and it goes up. So all this, I can even delete this with this button. I've deleted that. I can delete another one, and so all this apply to this screen we are seeing here. Okay, we have also display row menu. It will display the row menu. What's this? SAP Business Workplace. If you click, it will show you something that looks like the inbox where you receive your work items. If there's a message, an alert or something, you can come here and you view it. So this is only available on the SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, and so on. Check boxes. Just those boxes, you just click and you check, just to emphasize that this is what you want. Like these are check boxes. Okay, you can check or uncheck it. Okay. So moving on. Radio buttons. So radio buttons, you use them to just select one option at a time. They are not like check boxes where you can select multiple options at a time. So a radio button, you just need to select one out of the many options you have. Tab strip. So this consists of several sub-screens arranged in an easy-to-view fashion. So the reason why we're explaining this is going forward, we'll just be calling these terminologies and we'll not have time to explain them again. So if I say click on that radio button, you should know that I'm talking about those buttons that you just click to select one option. If I say click on that checkbox, you should know what I'm talking about. So if let me display an equipment master data. So in an equipment master data, you have a lot of tab strips. These are tab strips. This is the tabs, general tab, location tab, organization structure. So they just help to organize your data. So if you go click on general, you see more uh, fields that you can enter data. So each of these entry point is called a field. So if I say click inside that field, the object type field, I'm referring to this. The class field, I'm referring to this. So these are fields. So the tab strip simply just organize these fields that are related together. So uh, you see all these fields are general fields, okay? They are general information about this equipment. So all the general information, the common information about this equipment are in the general field. Then the location, everything that has to do with location, like in this case, you see things like maintenance plant, location, room, plant section, work center, all these are location related fields. They are organized in this tab. So if there was nothing like tab strip, you simply see this information will be scattered everywhere here. But because we have tab strip, you need to click on it, activate one before you can see the information in that particular tab. Then the organization tab, this comprises of all organization data. You can see the company code, you can see the business area, assets, cost center, WBS. All these are organization data. Plant, planner group, work center, all this. We'll be looking at it in detail as we move on. Structure. So you can see these are information that are related to the structure. And so this is explaining the tab strip concept. Then you have the status bar. Okay. This is your status bar, just this area here, status bar. You can hide it and you can expand it. You can hide it. Let me just pause and ask this question. Uh, Joshua, I see your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I already sent the question in the chat
Oh,
room. I don't know if you can access.
okay, let me check. You said you mentioned blueprint twice. Can you please explain what is a blueprint? Oh, blueprint is just like the plan for the implementation. So what guidelines you want to follow, what stages, everything that has to do with that SAP implementation is in the blueprint. So it comprises of uh, information that you'll be needing for the implementation. Now, how the result at the end of the day, the result that you want to see shouldn't be different from what you have on the blueprint. So it's just a document that specifies what you are doing. So you can't go to do SAP implementation without first defining the blueprint. So for example, how do you want to call the a particular if the company has three plants? Plant A, you want to call it plant 1000. Plant B, you want to call it plant 2000. And so all these specifics are defined in the blueprint. So when you now start your configuration, you follow the blueprint. At the end of the day, your configuration is exactly like your blueprint. And this blueprint is what if the client you're working for is also watching. So if any deviation from the blueprint, then you guys need to come back and align. Is it clear?
Yes, very clear. Thank you so much. Very clear.
So any other, let me stop at this point and ask this question. Is it making sense? Is it flowing? Are we like following in that order? Are we beginning to, you know, appreciate it? Or is it sounding strange?
It's flowing.
Okay. All right, great. So this little stuff we're talking about here, if you're able to grab them now, as we move forward, we won't have time to start explaining them again. We'll now be applying them. So at the end of the class, you can replay the video and pause and play back to get these terminologies very well so that you won't have issues as we move on. Okay, so next is SAP standard menu. We looked at SAP standard menu before. Oh, no. So SAP standard menu and SAP favorite menu. Okay. Let me explain that here. So we have two menus on the SAP Easy Access. These are the menus. These yellow folders you see here. These are the menus. So I need everybody to locate these menus now. Locate these menus. If your own is looking different, let me know. So the first one is the favorite menu, and I will explain what it's used for. Why the second one is the SAP standard menu. So here, all the modules are in this SAP menu. If the module is a logistic module, you will find it in this folder called logistics. So all logistic modules are grouped here. You can see material management is a logistic module, sales and distribution fall under logistic, production, even plant maintenance is a logistic module. So because we are doing plant maintenance, it means anytime you need a transaction code that has to do with plant maintenance, you need to come here. So because I know some of you may be tempted to ask, how do I know these transaction codes to carry out these activities? Yes, you don't need to spend time memorizing transaction codes. But as you continue to use SAP, you just get used to some of the basic transaction code you use on a daily. However, you have a repository here where all the transaction codes are organized according to module. So if you need transaction code in material management, you first come to logistics. Okay, first you come to your SAP menu. So everybody locate your SAP menu and expand it. Then go to logistics and expand it. Are we doing it?
Yes, we are doing it.
Okay, so now go to plant maintenance. I won't go to any other model because we are doing plant maintenance. So expand the plant maintenance model. Sorry, the plant maintenance folder.
Okay.
Then in the plant maintenance folder, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders. This is basically everything concerning plant maintenance. So in plant maintenance, we have a part called technical objects, management of technical objects. We have a part called maintenance processing. We have preventive maintenance. We have information system, work clearance management. So here in technical object, everything that has to do with the equipment that you are maintaining, the bill of material. So if you open it for that, everybody open management of technical object. You will see the content of that that level. So here you are talking about functional locations. We're going to look at functional locations later: equipment, installed basis, configuration control, serial number, material, bill of material, environment. All these are under management of technical object. Now, basically, what you end up at is going to be the transaction code for carrying out the activity. So you see, you don't need to memorize the transaction code. You just need to first know how to follow this gradually, and you get to this level, these small white boxes. So this is actually the like in this case, these are transaction code for functional location, and this is the transaction code to create a functional location. This one is to change. This one is to display. Then we also have other transaction code. So you have to expand until you get to the white boxes. The white boxes are the transaction codes. Okay. So expand um, again to the next one, maintenance processing. In maintenance processing too, you are going to see different sub levels under maintenance processing. So here you have notification. The concept of notification is under maintenance processing. Is a document that is generated once there's a problem on an equipment. You raise a notification. Then you have a work order. Work order is the next document that a notification is converted to, which is like an order to carry out the task. You have capacity requirement, completion, confirmation, completion, history, environment, all this. So I launched a transaction code to create a notification in the course of this class like 2 times. You can see that transaction code under this folder notification, then create special CIW24. So if I get to this point and I double click this is create a malfunction report. So if there's a problem on an equipment and you are an operations person and you saw the problem, you just go back to your SAP and report it by raising a notification. So if I double click on this transaction code, it's going to take me to where I will fill the information about the malfunction. And once I save it, system will generate a notification number and save in the database. So once it's saved, it is sent automatically to the next person who is supposed to treat the problem. So here we have activity report, we have maintenance request. All these are maintenance notification types that you can create. So if you follow this path, you will surely get to the transaction code. Okay, so once you get the transaction code, you double click. So it's either you follow this path, or if you know the transaction code, you can now run it here. This IW24, which is create malfunction report. If I launch it through the command field, it will also open the same way. So you have the option of either launching it through the command field or going down the SAP menu step by step till you get to the right transaction and you can launch it. So close this, open preventive maintenance again. So in preventive maintenance tool, we have this maintenance planning and works scheduling. Okay, open again information system. Here you have standard analysis. Here you can get some reports that may be maintenance reports that may be useful to you. So the long and short of this whole SAP menu concept is all transaction codes used in SAP are housed in this SAP menu. And more specifically, all logistics transaction code are housed in logistics. And then even more specifically, all maintenance transaction code are housed under the plant maintenance folder. And then the different aspects of plant maintenance as defined here contains their different transaction code if you drill down to the last level. However, some people still complain that the process of going through this menu, looking for a transaction, especially a transaction that you use on a daily basis in the course of your job, is the stress is much. So SAP has provided another opportunity for you to select your frequently used transaction code and add them in your favorites so that you don't have to go through the stress of looking for a transaction code. So if I'm that lazy guy who prefer to just organize my frequently used transaction code in favorite rather than go down this tree, I'll simply take one day or a few seconds to select my frequently used transaction. If I know that I create malfunction reports, then I will move this transaction code. I will click on it, hold it, and I will drag it and I'll place it on favorite. It means I have moved the transaction code. So I can launch my transaction code from favorite without having to go through this. So if I double click, it still launches the transaction. Then I can do the same for maybe the change, create, change, and display. So I want to select create, change, and display. So now I know that in the course of my job, I'm always using either to create or to change or to display. You can see that this description of this transaction code is not so perfect because my function, this one is just written my function. There's no keyword create. And this one, there's no keyword notification or this one. So I can also modify it in my favorite. I will select it and I will click on this pen and I will say, okay, create. I'll add the create keyword at the beginning. This is optional. And then once I accept it, it will add the create. So here, change what? Change notification. So I will make the descriptions more descriptive. So if you have time, you can be doing this with me on your own system. It's not a problem. Um, then here I will say display notification. And in fact, I need everybody to do this. So just expand it down to these transaction codes. So it means you're going to expand up to maintenance processing, this one. Then you expand notification. Then you expand create special. Then you can click on this, hold it, hold your mouse, then drag it and place it on favorite. So once you are done, select them one by one and rename them using this pen. Once you are done, let me know. Once you are done, just raise your hand up. Let me see the first person to complete the task. David has done it. Bravo, David. Joshua is saying my SAP was installed on the different users, so I will have to log here to achieve that. Okay. If from our next class, please try and ensure that your system is working optimally, because we're gradually going into the practical sessions. Once we finish all these stories, we'll definitely dive into the practical session. So we'll be doing all these things. I won't just be talking. We'll be doing all these things together. So I'm surprised that nobody is raising his hand up. Is it difficult? Is it a difficult challenge? I expect that we'll do this in a few seconds. David, yeah, I confirm you've done it. Okay. So it's either you are not able to do it or your system is challenging you. So, however, it could be nice if you attempt that. So I would demonstrate it one more time. So here you go to logistics, SAP logistics, then plant maintenance, then maintenance processing, then notification, then create special, then just click on any part of this, hold it and drag it and place it on favorite. So once you place, that transaction will be there. You can select it, click on the pen and edit it to be descriptive as you want. Okay. So let's move forward. Even if you have not attempted it here, after the class, you can replay the video and try it again. Okay. So that is how to create your favorite. And in fact, it could be very helpful, because if you are the person who just uses these 3 transactions, you don't need to be going through the stress of looking for it in the SAP menu. Okay, you can even add another transaction directly from here. Okay, if you right click on this favorite, you will see insert transaction. Then, but here in this case, you need to know the transaction you are inserting. Like in my case, I'm inserting IW28, and then it's inserted. So this is another way to add the transaction to the favorite. If you right click on favorite and click on insert transaction, not insert folder, insert transaction. But here you need to know the transaction code you want to insert first. So if I want to insert another one, IW29, I'll type inside the transaction code field and I'll click continue. And so gradually I'm building my favorite. Again, you may end up having a lot of transaction code lined up on your favorite here. And that will call for you to organize them in folders according to their functionalities. So you say, okay, these two, 29 and 28, they are related. 24 and 22 are related, and so on. So you can create folders, on your favorites. So here you right click on favorite and insert a folder, then title the folder, give it a name. So I'll call it notification. So all notification related transaction codes that are here, I will simply move them. So I'll move this one here by clicking, dragging it there. I'll also move this one. So 2 transaction codes are in this folder. Then I will right click on the favorite again to create another folder, insert folder. I'll call this one work order. Work order. Then in the work order, I will simply move this one to the work order. I will move another one to the work order. I'll move this last one to the work order. So I have been able to organize my transaction code into different folders, and I've titled them based on their function. So if I want anything concerning notification, I will expand this and I will see my notification transactions. I will expand this to see my work order transactions. So that's another way to create your favorite and organize them properly for easy access. And from here, you can launch the transaction by just double clicking on it. Double clicking on it, and you're fine. Okay, so that's the use of favorite menu and SAP menu. So let's move on. Overview of asset management. So we are basically talking about plant maintenance. And of course, you can't talk about plant maintenance without talking about assets, because what you're actually maintaining is your asset. Your equipment are your assets, your buildings, your vehicles, and so on are your assets. So we have three kinds of maintenance that we'll be talking about: inspection, repair, and preventive maintenance. Okay. So what is inspection? Inspection is a kind of maintenance, or is a kind of activity to determine the actual condition of an object. So you inspect your asset to determine the actual condition of that object. Is it bad? Is it okay? So that is also a kind of maintenance. So you have a pipeline, and you are inspecting the corrosion level. You are inspecting the rust level. You are inspecting, the moist level on your pipe. That is a kind of maintenance. And this can be done at a frequency. You can say, I want to carry out this inspection every 1 month. So every month you go and carry out the inspection is a kind of maintenance. Then we have repair. Repair too is a maintenance, and it is targeted at to restore the target condition of an object. So if the condition you have set or you've agreed in your organization is reduced, then repair will bring back or will restore that target condition. So let's say you, after inspecting, you see that the pipeline is rusted. So you now need to repair it so that it comes back to the normal standard that you want it to be. Now, we also have another form of maintenance called preventive maintenance. So this one is to maintain the target condition of an object. So we have a target. Um, we want our, for example, our generator to be running without running at a certain level of vibration, maybe 0.00 micron. And eventually, as this generator ages, the vibration will just increase, and that can cause a defect to the generator. So to avoid that happening, you need to schedule a preventive maintenance on this generator, so that from time to time you go and check the vibration level. Then you check what is causing that vibration, you correct it. So that kind of maintenance that you keep, that is scheduled to happen from time to time, even when the equipment has not failed, is called preventive maintenance. So the target is to maintain the target condition. We want the vibration not to be more than 0.005 micron. So every time you check, is it still at 0.005 micron or has it increased? Okay, so you check frequently to monitor the target condition. So these are the kind of maintenance that can be carried out on your asset. And this can be in form of cleaning, refurbishment, production assistance, construction modification, and so on. Now, integration within the SAP business suite. You can see our plant maintenance is in the middle. because this is the module we are studying. However, plant maintenance cannot work alone. Plant maintenance must work with material management, because before you can maintain certain assets, you need a spare part. And this spare part will come from the material inventory management or warehouse management sector. So plant maintenance guys will always refer to the material guys for spare parts. Then plant maintenance can also work with financial accounting, in the sense that these spare parts you are requesting, if they finish in the warehouse, the business needs to buy. And once they buy, they need to pay the vendor. So they will pay through the finance and accounting model. Plant maintenance cannot also work without human resources. The maintenance team that is responsible for carrying out intervention on our equipment they are the human resources. Likewise, project management. If it's a project, plant maintenance will also be integrated with project management system. Like the project element, which is called the work breakdown structure, WBS element, can serve as a cost collecting object in a maintenance order. So as you continue to execute the project and you consume cost, that cost will be tied to that WBS element. So it can be related. It can also be related to asset accounting, controlling, and so no module of SAP works alone. It must work with other modules. Then let me also introduce to you the concept of S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA Enterprise Management. So before, some of you may have heard about S/4HANA. S/4HANA is a most recent technology or recent product from SAP. Because when the first version of SAP, called SAP R3, this was the first version of SAP that was introduced. Then eventually, this SAP R3 was upgraded to what is called ECC. And today we have different versions of ECC up to ECC 6.0 Enhancement Package 8. So this is the transformation from SAP R3. That time it was called SAP R3. Then a small upgrade to ECC. ECC means ERP Central Component. Okay, so then after ECC, there is a recent version called S/4HANA. Sorry, S/4HANA. Now, these two products, ERP and ECC, are similar. They are exactly the same, just small, little upgrades. But with S/4HANA, there has been a very great difference in SAP technology. Now, the two of this is R3 and ECC. They were built on a third-party database. So they were built on third-party database like Oracle and so on, all the database softwares. So SAP was simply, sharing the revenue between SAP and another party, because you can't implement SAP. You must implement SAP on a database. It runs on a database because the data will be stored in the database. So it means that whenever a client buys the license, they buy the license for both the SAP program, and the database license as well. So when SAP wants to upgrade, they decided to create their own database called HANA. So like this SAP installed on your system and also my system is running on probably Oracle or maybe MySQL or any other database. But S4HANA, which is the latest technology, SAP decided to create their proprietary database, which their program or their solution is running on. So they took time to design this database to be very compatible with SAP solution. And they also addressed all the loopholes or the issues that were in when they were using other databases. So because of that, S4HANA data retriever in S4HANA is very, very fast. So here, they made use of third-party databases, which are mostly relational databases that uses or row-based databases. Okay, why in S4HANA took advantage of both the row-based and column-based, which makes data retrieval much faster. And here, data is stored in memory. So we'll call it is an in-memory database. Memory. So when we're talking about memory, we're talking about maybe the RAM, random access memory. So data is actually stored in the RAM or stored in the memory of the computer. It is not just stored in the storage uh, section of the system as it is done in this kind of databases. So here, once you retrieve an information, that information is first, a copy of it is first stored in the memory, such that whenever you want to retrieve the same information or anything that has to do with that information in the memory, then the retriever is faster. It's more like it buffers it in the memory. Okay. But here, anytime you want to retrieve data, you must go directly to the storage, and system will read the storage from line 1, row 1 down to row 2 and find the data wherever it is. So that process of reading the data delays the output, makes the system slow. So if you want to run a report or retrieve an information in the system, you see when I was trying to generate list of purchase orders here, you see it took time before the result came out because system was running through everything in the database row by row, to be able to figure out where that data is stored in the storage. But in the HANA database, once that retrieval is done the first time, uh, system buffers it or system stores it in the memory so that next time when you run that report, instead of going to read one by one every row in the database, it picks the information from the memory. And you agree with me, those of you who are system savvy, you agree with me that data retrieval from the memory is faster than from the storage. So that they took advantage of this kind of uh, databases or this kind of arrangement to speed up data retrieval in S4HANA. Then in SAP R3 or ECC, they made use of what is called GUI for user, is a user interface. This is a user interface. Why here is UX and this is user experience. So it is designed to give user a kind of fulfilling experience. So even when you are clicking on the icons in S4HANA, you have it. That interface is designed to give you a kind of experience that is interesting. So that's why here is called UX. Then the interface here can either be GUI or Fiori. There's an interface called Fiori, which runs on the Fiori Launchpad. So let me just go online and show you how this Fiori looks like. Fiori Launchpad. So basically, in S4HANA, this is how the environment looks like. So you have instead of having transaction codes, you have apps, just like you have applications on your phone for doing those activities. Okay. So again, if you need to, for example, create a notification, there will be an app here for create notification. Just like you see this app here, manage sales order, track sales order. So when you click on the app, you now begin to carry out that activity. So this is your Fiori Launchpad, and this is how SAP S4HANA environment on Fiori looks like. So here you are also seeing your inbox. It is showing you real-time number of alerts you have waiting for you. You see some reports that are like dashboards that are showing you that result real time. Whenever there's a change, you are going to see, because data retrieval is very fast, all these are updated real time in your Fiori Launchpad. Okay. So having on that, okay, there are some more differences between R3 and ECC. So R3 is more analytical. This is more analytical because of the fast data retrieval. Analysis or reports are very easy, but here it's not that analytical, less analytical. So you need to first download the data, then you take it to Excel and analyze it. But you can see here in your Fiori, it's already analyzing the data in the system for you without you having to even, extract and take it to Excel. Okay, so this is less analytical. So there are a couple of other differences between S4HANA and ECC. But basically, these are the main differences. Okay, so and again, another difference is this one runs on premise. On premise. On premise means the resource or the server is somewhere in your company. It's in your server room. Okay, and if you need to upgrade, you need to get those patches from SAP, download them, then go upgrade it on your server. However, S4HANA runs both on premise and in the cloud and on cloud. So on premise, you can have a version that can be on the server in your premises or in your company. Though data updates can also be sent directly from SAP. And then when it's on cloud, this cloud. When it's on cloud, SAP takes charge of everything. You just like you are renting the application, just a space in the cloud that has that SAP. You rent it and then configure it as you like and use it. SAP will just give you a link to access it in the cloud. So here, you don't have any business with security. You don't have any business with updates. SAP does that at will. So SAP is still the owner of the resource. You are just renting the space. So if you don't renew your license, you are knock off the access to the cloud um, system. So for S4HANA is designed to work on premise and on cloud. Why this is strictly on premise. Okay. So this is your S4HANA. So here also you see the different models, and you see their naming, or the way they are titled is a bit different. So in ECC, R3 ECC, plant maintenance is called plant maintenance, but in S4HANA it's called asset management. Material management in ECC is called material management model, but in S4HANA is called sourcing and procurement. So these are also some of the, so uh, what you are learning now, you would, whenever you want to take your exam, you're going to take the exam S4HANA exam, because we don't have exam available for ECC again, because SAP has scrapped all certification in ECC. Only those of us who wrote these exams long time ago, we wrote ECC exam, and then now we have to upgrade to S4HANA. So I actually have two certifications, in one in ECC and one in S4HANA. So the ECC one is called plant maintenance and repair in SAP ECC, while the S4HANA certification is called SAP S4HANA Asset Management. So, but because of the time you are coming into SAP, you have to take your certification in S4HANA. But the difference in terms of the process is exactly the same. Just the interface and some technical details that I've mentioned here, like database, of which you don't have any much business with the database. It is just there working on its own. And then the fact that you retrieve from memory and all these technical differences. Every other thing process is the same. Okay. So um, but just prepare your mind that at the end of this course, you are going to take S4HANA exam. So the difference, every area where there's a difference, I will mention it in the course of the class. And so that at the end of the day, you're okay. But in terms of the process, is the same. Everything is just the same. The same way you create notification is the same way you in ECC is the same way you create notification in S4HANA. The fields that you need to fill are exactly the same and all of that. So because all these things, they do all these things just to make money, sometimes to make it look recent, new. So one button that was in ECC on the left hand side, they will just move that same button and keep it on the right hand side, and just to make it look like it's a bit different. Okay. So SAP in-memory computing, SAP HANA appliance software. So this is talking about your S4 HANA. You have the software itself, then you have the database, and then you have some cloud application. So this is the SAP HANA platform. So all this put together makes S4 HANA to work successfully. But these are rather technical things that don't have much relationship with us, because we are going to be functional consultant. But just for you to know that the SAP HANA platform is made up of the SAP HANA appliance software, the SAP HANA database, the SAP HANA cloud applications, the SAP HANA Studio, and then the application. So all this put together make up the SAP HANA platform. So deployment options. If you're a company, or a company is asking you to advise them what options are available to deploy S4HANA, We have an on-premise option here. The customer buys license and operate the system on the premises. Okay, maybe in the server room somewhere, the SAP is there, and you just buy the license and you operate your system independent of SAP. You also have the cloud version, the cloud option here. The customer simply rents the software and SAP operates it. Okay, so SAP will be managing the software, both the security aspects, both updates, patches, and all of that. SAP will be managing. Then we have hybrid. Hybrid is a combination of both cloud and on-premise. So here you simply, some things you can do it as a customer, while some other things SAP will do it um, themselves. Mobile. So S4HANA can also run on a mobile device like your phone and your tablets and so on. So we have SAP cloud platforms. Okay, the HANA database, public cloud. Here, let me expand it a little bit. Here, in the public cloud, various customers share one environment. Okay, SAP deploys the system for you. Customers has limited influence. It is web-based, only end user access, also known as software as a service. So this is what is called a public cloud. These are just cloud platforms. So we have managed cloud. Here, in managed cloud is one customer per cloud. SAP deploys the system. Customer has limited influence. End user access, both web-based and traditional. Then we have also enterprise cloud. Here, it is one customer per cloud. SAP deploys the system. Customer influence is part of the model. End user access, both web-based and traditional. Just for your information, the SAP Cloud platform, this is how, this is what it's all about. And then we'll have the mobile as well, where it's running on mobile devices. So this is just showing you the, the transition from the older version to a more intermediate version, and then recently to the Fiori version. So these are the different looks of the interfaces we used before. This is business client, SAP business client interface. You can see how it looks like. Then the GUI, the one we are using even in this class. Then the Fiori Launchpad. This is how it looks like. Okay, so here we are looking at life cycle of a technical object. Please don't be bored by these plenty stories. We'll soon be done with it, and then we'll start talking about something more interesting. Life cycle of a technical object. So if you are a company, you want to set up your company and you're going to have some technical objects. First, you are going to do investment planning. You plan your investment. What kind of technical objects you want to buy? Where do you want to buy them from? What make, what model, what OEM, and so on. Then you define your projects. How big? How do you want to approach the approach? When do you want to do the installation? When do you want to ship it in? And all of that will be defined. So this is you as a business person, the business owner, going through the life cycle of your technical object from the start to the last level. Then you now start thinking of which of the vendors, which of the manufacturers you want to work with to supply you your assets or your equipment. Project execution, you now start the project. Okay, you have already gotten these machines, this equipment, you want to start installing or start building them on the plant. Then worker safety, Then plant maintenance. After installation, you start to maintain your assets. Then external procurement, if you need to buy spare part externally. Shutdowns, sometimes you need to shut down part of the how do you call it, part of the installation for maintenance. Then risk management, performance management, and so on. So this is just the process you go through your life cycle, in the life cycle of your assets. So every asset go through this life cycle, from planning to get it, to definition project, to selection of vendors, down to the last level. Okay, command fields, shortcuts. Will soon be done for today's class, so just give us some time. We'll have 3 more slides to go. Command field shortcuts. So this will just help us to play with this SAP Easy Access environment, especially in the use of this command field. So normally we have some prefixes like /n, we have /o, /nend, /next, /i, and so on. So what is /n? /n is used to cancel the current session. So once you type /n in your command field and you press enter, that session is gone. It's gone. You have to log in again. So it's a shortcut, basically. It's a command. So sometimes you just may need these commands to, execute a task very fast. So, but if you type /n and you introduce a transaction code, it will help you to call a transaction code from another transaction. What does this mean? I'm currently on IW28. This is a transaction. So once you are already in a transaction, so everybody should launch this IW28, please. Once you are in this transaction IW28, which is a transaction to change notifications. So this command is used to call a transaction from another transaction. This closes the current transaction, right? So it means normally, if you are in a transaction, if you try to use this command field to run another transaction like IW24, it will not work. You see, I just type IW24, it's not working. Why? Because I'm already on a transaction called change notifications. Until I go back to SAP Easy Access before I can run IW24. So if I'm not on SAP Easy Access, if I'm on an existing transaction, that means I've already launched a transaction, then I cannot use command field again. So this is what I mean. If I try to use the command field to launch a new transaction, it will not work. The only way out is to use the prefix /n before the new transaction you want to run. So if my new transaction is this, because XXXX represents a transaction you want to run. So the only way I can run a new transaction while I'm on another transaction is I introduce /n, then I type the new transaction immediately. So /n IW24 will cancel this already existing transaction and open a new one. You can see. So it has canceled that old transaction, has opened a brand new one. If I still want to override this transaction with another transaction, I'll still introduce /n ME23N, and it's going to cancel that one and open a new one. So that prefix /n is used to run another transaction while another transaction is open. So the impact is going to cancel the old one. Then somebody may ask, why? What if I don't want to cancel the old one? I want the two transactions to still remain, meaning the old one should remain and the new one should open. So this will display separate sessions. So you call transaction this from another transaction without closing the transaction. So I am currently on IW28 transaction, which is change notifications. So I want to run another transaction, but I don't want to override this one. So I will launch /O. So /O, and if I enter a new transaction like ME23N, then system will open this new transaction, and yet the old one is still here. Just that, it kept the old one in the taskbar. But the two transactions are open. This one is here and the old one is here. Unlike /N, which we kill this, you won't even find it here. So that's the difference. What is /NEND? /NEND is more like end, to exit the current session without a query. Without a query means if I type /NEND and I press enter. Okay, there's a mix up here. So this is actually, oh, okay, yeah, I read it wrongly. To exit the current session with a query. So this is what it means by with a query. It will ask you, do you want to log off? You have to say yes before it will exit. But /NEND is a shortcut to just quickly end whatever you are doing. Even if you are in SAP Easy Access, if you type /NEND, NEND, it will attempt to shut down or log you off. Then we have /next. So /next is opposite to /NEND. Here, it will exit the current session without a query. It will not even warn you, do you want to close? So /next. Simple. It will not even ask you for anything, whether do you want to close it or do you not want to close it. Then /I to delete the session currently active. So more like closing this session, just like /next. But this will ask you whether you want to log off. And once you log off, it's gone. So these are just shortcuts. Sometimes you are working in your system and you just want to step out. You don't want to, start going through the process of logging off. You can just type a code there and system will log you out. Then we have help, two types of help, F1 and F4 help. Remember, we're still talking about navigation within the SAP environment. So two types of help. The first help is F1. When you press F1 on your keyboard, this will give you technical information about a selected field. Remember, I explained what is a field. A field is that data entry space. For example, if I run IW28 transaction, all these are fields, all these data entry spaces. So if I come to this equipment, or let me just go to serial number. What is this serial number? What does it mean? I don't know. So I will just click on it. You will see it's highlighted. So if you press F1 on your keyboard, then system will give you technical details about that field. Here is trying to define serial number, specify serial number of serialized material. You can use serial number to identify individual instance of a material for individual tracking purpose. So any field at all that you don't understand, you can click on it like this segment, press F1 on your keyboard, and you will see details, you can read details about it. So it's a kind of help that system is rendering to you. Then we have F4. F4, this gives a list of possible entries in a field. So again, I will run IW28 transaction, change notification. Now, in this field, any field you click and there's a pop-up by the side like this, it means that there are some information hiding there that you can search and enter. And also it means that this field can only take information from this list. So anything that is not in this list, if you enter inside this field, system will reject it. So you must, the information that you enter in that field must be something from here. So if you search, you can just double click on it and it will enter in the field. So F4, while you click inside the field, if you press F4, it's equivalent of clicking on this pop-up, this match code, or we'll call it search button. So if I press F4, it's equivalent of clicking on it. So if I'm here and I press F4, system will try to give me possible entries in that particular field. So we have reached the exercise stage for this course. So we'll have some exercises that we are going to look at, then we'll close for today. So exercise 1 is saying start your SAP logon program and choose SAP system designated to you by your trainer. So can you do that? What we want you to do is just to start the system and select this. And select that. So use the client username and initial password and login language specified by your trainer. So use select your client. Of course, your client will be there by default. Then enter your username. So enter your username and your password and you log in. So just be patient. I'm running up. This is the last slide. Then we'll close for today. I just want to ensure that everything enters in the recording so that when you are playing it, you get everything. So enter your password and log in. So once you do that, system will log you in. Okay. Then they say you should follow your instructor. What is the maximum number of sessions that you can have open at a time? Can anybody tell us this answer to this question? What's the maximum number of sessions?
It's 6.
Okay, great. That's 6. That's correct. Then so the solution here is you can open a maximum of 6 sessions. What is the name of the function you reach when you go to tools, administration, monitor, system monitoring, user overview in the SAP standard menu? So let's follow this part in our SAP standard menu. Tools, look at tools here. Administration is next. Then next is monitor. And then next is system monitoring. Then next is user overview, which is this one. So the transaction code is SM04. So if you double click on this transaction code, what does it do for you? This transaction code just gives you a list of users that are logged in at a time. So in this case, we have just 2 users logged in. Okay. User 1, user 2. So one of the users is the system user and the other user is me that has logged in. So if you run this SM04, in your company SAP, you will see all the users that are logged in from different angles. So if you want to ascertain whether a particular user is logged on to his SAP, you can use this transaction. Solution is, you can also use SM04 to achieve that. So they say, number 4 say, call the following transaction in the command field. SU03. SU3. What does it do? SU3 will just give you details about your user profile. So you can also do some settings here, like set your defaults, your decimal notation. You can choose your preferred one. So this applies to you anytime you are using SAP. Then your date format, you can use DDMMYYY or any of this format here, and that will apply to you. Any report you generate will come, any date will come in this format. Time format, 24 hours. You set your printer and your time zone. So this setting you can do yourself as a user. Then again, if any user complains that don't like certain kind of defaults and they don't know how to set it, you can assist them by running this transaction SU3 and setting it for them SU3, and then you set those defaults for them in the defaults. So this basically just gives you information about your user profile. Okay, these are the parameters that are set for you. So then the next transaction is SM4. We already tried SM4. SM4 is the one that gives us all the users that are logging at a time. Then slash SM4 slash N SM4, we simply just erase a current transaction and launch the SM4 transaction. We explained this prefix before. So who can tell us the work of slash NEND?
Okay, then we close a particular
Log off.
session, a particular
Close a
session
particular session
with
with a
it will
query.
ask with a query. Yes,
Yes, it will ask you whether you want to close. Why slash next we do what?
will close automatically without any query.
That's correct. So it means you are following. So number 5 says call a transaction to display user who is logging. So who can tell us a transaction code that can be used in this case? You want to display all users log into your system.
SM04.
Thank you, SM04. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this session. I was thinking we'll cover this topic, this session, and again another. But you can see time has we'll spend a lot of time, and I wouldn't like to bore my students on this first day. Perhaps some people will start, you know, running away. I don't want anyone to run away. So we'll stop here. I would get this video and send across to every one of you. You can play it from now till the next class. Keep playing it and get those things, because we're training you to be able to train another person. So you need to know these things the way they are explained. So just take it that we're training you to train other people. So you are going to be a consultant. People will consult you. So you don't need to be lazy about this. So keep playing that video. You can put it on your phone and play it anywhere you go and get those details inside you. And then by the time we finish, because once we are done with this, we're not going to be talking about any explanation of explaining anything around these things again. We'll move to another thing. So if you don't get to know this part, we'll move to the next one. Then eventually you lose track of what is happening. So get it as we are moving. At the end of this course, you would have gotten everything. So thanks for your time, and do have a good night rest. Except if you have a question. Okay, David is saying, okay, you can send your emails here. I need your emails. I need all your emails. Yeah, David, NEND is actually to log off. So it will log you off, but it will ask you whether you want to log off. So the difference between NEND and Next is Next will not ask you, it will just log you off. The two of them will log you off. But one will ask you, will warn you, you are about to log off. Do you want to? So when you confirm, then it logs you off. But Next will not do that, will just log you off abruptly. So that's just the difference. So please send me your emails. Let me, and I hope that I was clear enough. So, and I hope also that you enjoyed the class. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, when is the next class? Is it going to be every Saturday? Is it going to be
Every
for?
Saturday. Every
Okay, and
Saturday.
what?
Same
Sorry,
time.
I mean this is David speaking. Okay. And what about the duration of the class?
This class is for 30 days, but because we're doing it once a week, it's going to run for, I don't know when it will end, but we need to have 30 sessions and we're done.
That session. Okay, and what is the time duration for every session?
Normally 2 hours, but when I'm carried away, I can go 3 hours.
No, no, you just need to prepare my mind for it. Well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah. So
problem.
just take it that sometimes we'll do 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours, depending on the task ahead. Because when we get into the practical session, we'll have to be waiting for people. Have you done this? Have you not done this? Where are you? Share your screen, and that will take time. So it's a lot. So just prepare your mind. This is a big deal.
All right, thank you.
So I have one, two, three. Okay, there's another one up here. Three emails. Let me check. Maybe there's another. So I think I have just 4 emails. I can as well give you my WhatsApp number here.
You already
You
have
can,
my email now, so no need to send.
yes, 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 I have your email. So this is my WhatsApp number in case you just want to ask any question anytime. You are free to ask me any question anytime on SAP and I will respond to you on WhatsApp. Just send the question and I will respond to you. As I'm training you, I would become your lifetime consultant. Even if you are working in a company, you have issues, you can always consult me. That's the benefit of being part of this class. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks. Have a good night rest.
appreciate it.
Follow the
Yeah.
Yes,
materials.
sir.
Are you going to send?
Oh
As
yes, I will
well?
send you. I will send you guys the materials. I have a very voluminous material here. Okay, so all the models in plant maintenance are here. Let me start with PLM 300. So PLM 300 is up to page 407. But this is what I have summarized. I have used to formulate this curriculum, okay, that we're following. So what I'm following here is my own curriculum that I've deduced from this um, how do you call it? SAP Academy material. This is standard SAP Academy material.
Okay, Paulo, you can end the recording so it doesn't get too long. Hello. Can anybody hear me, or I'm the one that is mute?
Okay, sorry. I think there was a network glitch. There was a network glitch. So I'll be sending the material across to all of you. So with your spare time, you can um, also read all of that. It's quite bulky, but personally, I've gone through that material close to like 2 or 3 times, to be honest. And that's not that PLM 300 is just one of the modules in plant maintenance. You have PLM. Let me show you the others. So I've gone through all of them, in fact. So this will help you in your exam. This is just PLM 300. If you go, you will see PLM 310. Okay, 310 is not there. 305, 315, 38. All these are not less than 200 pages, right? So you would, it will be very helpful for your exams. I'll also send more materials to you, even beyond this one. So not a problem. Okay, thank you. I need to bow now, take a bow now, so I can also rest.
All right. Thank you, Paul, and everyone
Thank you
else.
very much. Thank you, Nosa.
Thank you everyone
Yeah.
else for joining.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.